welcome to Prove Through You. My name is Malika, and my goal here on this channel is to encourage you to walk by faith and to grow in what you know so that God's faithfulness can be proved through you. And welcome to Thoughtful Thursdays. This is a new segment that we've decided to start in the month of August, along with Meaningful Mondays. But this month, for Thoughtful Thursdays, we are going to be looking at different professional and corporate business tasks. So we will be talking about things such as job searching, resume building, multitasking, project management, interview skills, all sorts of corporate and professional tasks every Thursday in the month of August. Now, last week we did begin the segment talking about job searching, how to do it, what type of jobs that we're looking for, how to be encouraged, but there's also going to be a part 2 for that, and that starts today. So my key scripture in our Thoughtful Thursdays is Colossians 3rd chapter, 23 through the 24th verse, which says, "Whatever you do, work as unto the Lord." Okay, so whether we're job searching, building resumes, doing interviews, or even some of the repetitive everyday tasks on our job and our businesses, we want to do it for the glorifying of the Lord, which ultimately means let's just do it in a manner of excellence, in a manner of order. Let's reduce some chaos, reduce some confusion and conflict, because God doesn't abide in chaos. You know, He's a God of unity and not division, a God of clarity and not confusion. So that's the mindset that we want to take into Thoughtful Thursdays. How can I do this process with clarity? How can I do this process with confidence? How can I do it in the spirit of excellence that God has given me? Okay, so if you haven't seen the first video where we talked about job searching, definitely check it out. It's in my playlist on the channel. But today we are going to be learning about part 2. So it's a continuation of the job search. Now, be mindful of where you are applying. A lot of times when we are looking for jobs, of course, if we are in a dire situation, we want to get the best possible job we can as quickly as possible. And so maybe we are doing the hot commodity jobs or something very basic and simple that we know we're good at, such as data entry or math. So we lean towards banking, or we are good with education. So maybe we're looking to be a substitute teacher, or maybe you're going into instructional design or an online teacher, because all kids aren't in brick and mortar buildings. Some are still being taught online. So maybe that's the route that you're going. But I also wanted to suggest that another way that you can look for potential jobs. So if you look around your house, or if you are going out and about, where are either some of the places that you normally shop, or what are some of the products that you normally use? So for example, if you prefer to fly with Delta or Spirit Airlines or Southwest, have you checked their job boards to see if they have positions that may be remote or local near your area? What about your phone service? Are you with T-Mobile? Are you with Metro? Are you with New York's Best? I don't know. Whoever your cell phone carrier is, are they offering employment? Look on their job board, look on their websites. Who do you get your utilities through? If you are in a position where you do have to pay for electric or gas or garbage disposal, who is that company and are they hiring? We also talked about governmental jobs. We talked about state positions and things of that nature. And maybe the post office or the library that's near you, or a recreational center or the YMCA. If you have any of those places, see if they're looking for either interns, volunteers, seasonal workers. Are there any warehouses near you who may not have a permanent position, but maybe they have a seasonal position because everyone's going back to school, people are needing to find more employees, or someone with a more flexible work schedule. Also, are you using temporary services? You know, so they call temp services, who can help you find contracted positions for a temporary period of time. And we'll go more into resumes and interviews in later videos to come. There was also a financial basics playlist that we have available, because that was one of the first series that we started. So if you've already gotten the job, kudos to you. If you need a little bit more help with financial stewardship and basics, definitely feel free to check that video out. Now, if none of those types of companies or places interest you, and you are fortunate enough to have food or you have snacks, Who is making those products? Is it Procter and Gamble? Is it Lay's? Is it Nabisco? Is it Pepsi? See if those companies are hiring, whether remote or if they just happen to be near you. See if they have a location that's near you that you could apply for that. So we definitely wanted to make sure that we just encourage a different perspective or suggest different companies that you may be able to apply for, as opposed to either the hot commodities or the traditional ones. While you're either working on a degree, while you're working on a certification, while you are building up your own company, perhaps you are an entrepreneur. So these are just additional companies and additional suggestions for you as you are searching different job boards and websites. Okay, another thing that I want to just kind of drop into your hearing is, what are your natural abilities? Sometimes we don't know what to apply for because we don't know what we're good at. And I know when I was unemployed, I was very good at typing. Data entry was my thing. I had a very high key rate of keying different letters and words per minute. So I applied for every data entry position that was available. I didn't care if it was 30 minutes away, if it was an hour away, if it was another state away. You know, I was in that position where I could be a lot more flexible in where I worked and how I worked. And funny enough, I ended up taking a job that was an hour away from where I stayed because I just needed the income. I needed a job to be able to support myself and provide for my family. And so that's something that we talked about in the last video. If you are fortunate enough to be in a position where maybe you have an emergency fund, you have savings in the bank, so you don't really have to take any job, that's good for you. But for someone who may need to get a job as quickly as possible, what are your natural abilities? Okay, so maybe data entry isn't your dream job, but it's a job. And $7, $13, $23 an hour is always better than $0 an hour. And you don't have to stay there forever. That does not have to be your end all position. It's just a foot in the door. Okay, and you always want to be mindful of how you leave a company, but we'll talk about that in another video to come. Okay, so is there something that you are naturally or easily good at? Are you good at graphics? Are you able to get a Google certification in graphic design or a LinkedIn certification? There are some trade schools that offer certification programs that'll be about 6 months. So you don't have to go and get a 4-year, 8-year, 10-year degree in order to get that experience. There are places where you can do an internship, and most often than not, those interns usually end up getting hired full time by that same company that they were fortunate enough to be interns at or volunteer at, whatever situation fits yours and you're comfortable for that wait period for you and your family. I would definitely encourage you to do that. Are you good at negotiating? Are you good at debating? Are you good at taking photographs? The photography is still very popular right now. It is not just for baby showers and weddings. People are doing them for graduation photos, engagement photos, family photos, business photos. There are people who need real estate photography, magazine covers, for fashion, for gardening, even for book covers. So you never know how that photography skill can pay off for you. And it doesn't mean you have to have some expensive camera. There are people on social media who are booking clients simply using the camera on their smartphone. So if you are willing to put in a couple of YouTube hours, learn the settings on your phone, put in some groundwork, take pictures outside to get your practice, get comfortable with the things that you'll be taking photos of, and see if you can make that work in your favor while you're waiting for a full-time position. Are you good at social media? Since we're talking about social media, are you good at posting and responding and commenting and promoting? If so, have you considered being a social media manager or a social media assistant? Because people are looking for someone to manage their profiles on social media. Are you also interested in mentoring and teaching? So there are so many things that you may have a natural inclination to do, and maybe you may want to tap into that and see if there are any openings in that area as well. And don't be afraid to become a student. Okay, there may be some skills that you may have to brush up on. There may be some programs and software that you already have that you never use. So for example, I have Microsoft Office or Microsoft Suite, And there's probably about 3 Microsoft programs that I never even use. But I realize there is a field that needs that skill set. So what have I decided to do? I take about 10 to 15 minutes a day or a week, whichever my schedule permits, and I practice on those programs. Not that I'm interested in them, but they could be of later use. They could be of later use for me in the future. So I would definitely encourage you to do that. Don't be afraid to brush up your skill set. The library still has books, that you can check out for free. Everything worth having, you don't really have to always pay for. Some things you may have to pay for to find out that information, but there are still reputable articles that are online. You still have libraries that have official books that you can learn skills. And even some libraries will offer free teaching sessions and free online courses. You just have to do the research in order to find that out. I know as well as there are local churches in my area. They offer job skill sessions. There are different nonprofit organizations who would help you with resume building, job searching, interview skills, and things like that. So if you have not yet tried that avenue, I would definitely encourage you to do that as well and continue to put your best foot forward. Remember, it's about your heart posture and your dedication. How are you putting forth an effort to ensure that your name is being pushed to the front of the job search engine and criteria? Okay. Another thing that we want to remember is to stay encouraged as you are navigating the job market. Some skills that we had maybe 5 or 10 years ago may not be as valuable to some companies, but that does not mean that you don't have value. That just means that we have to pivot a little bit, or we have to sharpen up that tool a little bit and go out there and find a job that works best for us. And sometimes we may be in positions where we cannot afford to wait 6 to 9 months for that job that makes us 6 figures, 5 figures, the one that we know that we deserve. Sometimes we are just in dire situations and we need a job. Now, I don't mean to take just any job. Don't take anything that's going to cause you more trouble down the road, that's going to cause unnecessary conflict and danger and harm down the road. You still want to use discernment, but sometimes we can miss a great opportunity because it looks small, because we have been just weary in searching for jobs. So with every job search that you are seeking, with every job that you apply for, I encourage you to pray over it. Ask God to give you discernment. Ask God to give you the words to speak. Ask God to bring you to the right people to help mentor you as you go looking for those job searches. Because if you are in a situation where you really need the money, don't allow negative people, don't allow the devil, don't allow yourself to settle for less than you know that God has called you to. Okay? Sometimes he's asking us to wait. Sometimes he's asking us to try a little bit harder. And in the waiting, you never know what God is setting up for your benefit. Because in Romans 8:28, it says that all things are going to work together for the good of them who love the Lord, who have been called according to his purpose. So there is good on the other side of waiting. There is good on the other side of perseverance. There is good on the other side of not giving up. I believe in you, and I pray that something that I said today has been encouraging. I pray that something that I said today has been enlightening and helpful for you. If you haven't already seen the first video, go back, take a look at it, and see what other topics and notes we were able to cover in the first video of the job search under Thoughtful Thursdays, which is located in our playlist. So if you found something in this video that was helpful, please leave it in the comments below. If you have any additional questions, if you are having questions about how to job search, what to job search, I would love to assist you with that the best that I can. If you know that this video was helpful, I hope that you would give it a thumbs up. But if you know someone else who could use this, I pray that you would just share it with them. Let them know where you found these gems, where you were able to eat a little bit of the crumbs that we left here on the channel. And I hope to see you again soon in the next video. I pray that you have an amazing day.